I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God.
All right. Thank you, Ari. So good to have Ari here. We're probably only going to have her here for a little while longer. So, well, welcome. Good morning. It was so lovely this morning. I love when you walk out and it's after a rain, a summer rain. It just feels so alive. So it just felt so good this morning. And I am so glad to see all of you. Just a few announcements. Is there anyone here for the first time today? And I think I recognize all of you. And there's some really delicious treats downstairs afterwards. So be sure and come down and share and eat them. So I don't. Yeah, it's the problem. Let's see. Your announcements are on the back of your program. So do take them home and look at them and see what's happening at Woodland Chapel. And I'm assuming all of you get your weekly text or email about what's happening here. But if not, let me know afterwards, and I'll make sure you get on the information about that, because next week is a lot of the stuff that will be upcoming. So next week's email will be important. So, all right. Reverend Moore.
Yes. Reverend Julie.
Oh.
We have something special.
But where is she?
Ah.
There she is. Aha. In the corner. Over there.
She's holding a high watch.
She is.
Right there. Please come forward. Kathy is one of our most distinguished practitioners and has been serving the chapel for many years. When Kathy, at the time when I first started in official ministry here, was the only practitioner we had at Woodland Chapel. She has brought to this chapel many years of service. The Centers for Spiritual Living have a process by which a person who's been a practitioner for 20 years or more may gain an emeritus status. Well, Kathy saw that a long time ago because she served over 40 years as a practitioner.
Woo!
I have found her work to be exquisite, her meditations enlightening and silent this morning, right? We did a little silence and a wonderful prayer, an introduction. I just can't begin to express completely the love and the affection in our hearts for Kathy Prather, and we're just so blessed that she's still coming and filling in as we need from time to time. Thank you, Kathy.
You're welcome.
We have a little token. We have these name badges, and this one says, Woodland Chapel Center for Spiritual Living, Kathy Prather, Emeritus, RScP.
Thank you very much.
Wow. Opening prayer. So we come together in prayer. We have two Cheryls, and Cheryl O and Cheryl G, and we just have to keep them apart there. So this is Cheryl O., a practitioner here at Centers for Spiritual Living, and a practitioner for how many years, Cheryl?
About 8. About 8, yeah. I don't have the experience that, yes, it's amazing, Kathy. I can't imagine that many years as a practitioner. I'd be so tired. Did I say that out loud? Oh, sorry. Well, I know that Spirit is always happy to laugh with us. So I invite you, I invite you to drop into that soul space, that space that is always with us, that knows the truth of who we are, knows the truth that we exemplify that Spirit that is ever permeating our lives, is around us and through us and in every space. God is everything, or God is nothing. So I declare for us that we are part of that amazing power and presence today and always. And we bring that energy into this space and gather together to celebrate it. To celebrate it and feel the joy that it brings us. I know that each person here will hear the message they need to hear. Each person here will get their own individual message, because that is how it works. So I invite you to open your hearts and know with me that this is the moment that we have together to celebrate. I feel such gratitude for this shower of blessings. I feel such gratitude for this place and this moment that we are celebrating. And with this joy in my heart, I release this word into the law, knowing it is done as spoken, and through grace so much more. And invite you to say with me, and so it is. Now we have an affirmation in your program. Please join me in saying, I am a necessary piece of the divine, ever-changing tapestry. I bring upon and shapes that represent Spirit's identity. We are unique expressions of God, and this world would not be the same without each of us. And so it is.
Good morning. Today, a bold integration of a new way. This quote is interesting because of the piece it comes from. Gabor Mate, in the realm of hungry ghosts, close encounters with addiction, says, not the world, not what's outside of us, but what we hold inside traps us. We may not be responsible for the world that created our minds, but we can take responsibility for the mind with which we create the world. Ernest Holmes, in Ideas of Power, says, love is the only final security in the universe. Love is the greatest healing power in the universe and the only thing that binds people together in a community of spirit. Imagine for a moment what new thought could become if we integrated such things as trauma-informed care and treatment with its scope of somatic awareness, regulation and deregulation techniques, and more. Imagine the depth and breadth of how we could be a beneficial, healthy, and holistic movement. While we may not want to address it, the fact of the matter is there are people leaving the movement due to such things as toxic positivity, minister-centric narcissistic abuses, and more. As a movement, what are we to do? As an individual, what are you to do? Are you willing to explore ways of gathering beyond the traditional church model? Imagine for a moment that we offered something that is a blend of hospital, community center, church, university, and retreat center. I like that idea. Imagine if we offered a place where people's needs are met based on the needs of the people and not the needs of the minister, the board, or anyone else. Imagine a place where you can come for fellowship, and if that is all, then that is all. A place to learn, and if that is all, then that is all. A place for spiritual and emotional support, and if that is all, then that is all. A place for a more traditional kind of service, if that is what you seek. Imagine adopting a bold approach to giving the community what the community truly needs, so each person can then go out and live as powerfully, presently, and divinely as possible. Wow. Our bonus affirmation for today. Today, I willingly and consciously open myself to the many ways we can come together as a community.
All right, I've got a song that I think you've all heard at this point by now. This is called Courage from the Heart, a song I wrote. Traveled is less traveled for a reason. It's lined with mirrors, we must face ourselves. The journey's done on our own, with courage from the heart. It's easier to stay on the beaten path. Where others go, we follow, thinking they know better. But deep within, that little child's crying. Use courage from the heart. Only you know where it is. You alone can take the steps. Every day we have a choice to let ourselves be free and fall into who we're meant to be. Well, you alone change our way and just start walking. The life we crave is ours to take, with courage from the heart. With courage from the heart. With courage from the heart. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Ari. And now I just want to introduce you someone that most of you already know, but Cheryl Gass. She's a practitioner here too, and a wonderful speaker, and our new administrative person here at Woodland Chapel that is going to keep us all in order, organized, and just functioning at a very high level. She's just an awesome person, very talented, and someone I love very much. So, Cheryl.
How does it feel? Am I on? Okay. How does it feel to be uniquely you? Yay? Everybody, yay! Because like Oscar Wilde said, be yourself because everybody else is already taken. So let's think about this. How can you be your unique self? What do you need to do to become that unique person? To be out there and to be boldly alive and aware and awake in this world? What do you need to do to reach that point if you're not already there? I know I'm still traveling that journey. I still am looking and trying to decide what direction my life is going. All the time. We are always doing that. We're always at the point of change. Constantly changing. Every day of our lives, we are changing. Now, whether we recognize it or not, now you can change in an easy, flowing kind of way, or you can fight it to the max. You can hold on to that stuff that's just been blocking your goodness and keeping you in that space of pain and suffering. We get to decide. But a lot of times these things occur to us that we don't plan for. We don't expect it. Something, it can be horrific. It can be a major life-changing incident. It could be your health. It could be your finances. It could be your relationship. All different kinds of things can change. And now what do you do when that happens? When there's this major life change, do you step into it courageously? Or do you just fall back and just wither and decide my life is over? Well, what about if we look at it from this point of view? What about a new normal? That's what your life's going to be, a new normal. That even though there's aspects of your life that you no longer can do, or maybe that now you've lost friends or you've lost all different kinds of things, maybe it's a job or whatever, do you just sit in that space and say, I'm not moving forward because I want my life back? I'm not going to do anything except focus on just getting the life back that I had. And you can go years and years and years trying to recreate the old life. But what can you do if you want to go ahead and live this life to the full, glorious measure that we are intended to do? What can you do? What is the new normal? It is stepping into something different. I can no longer go hiking, so my life is over. I can no longer do this, so my life is over. Or do you say, I can't go hiking, but I can do something else. I can go and volunteer. I can be all different kinds of things, but it's not going to be the life I had before. It's a new life. And if you think about it, our lives are different every day. In the last 5 minutes I have spoken, cells in your body have completely died off and brand new ones have taken their place. You have already changed right before my eyes and right before yours. I've completely changed in that time because I'm not the same person. It's just like they say, I think it was Rumi that said, you can never step into the same river twice because everything is flowing. So how much flow is there going on in your life? When obstacles show up in your life, do you just stop and sit in front of it and just contemplate it? Or do you just figure out a way to go around? Figure out a new way, a new method of living that life to the fullest. And so living your life to the fullest, one of the things you have to be is bold. I don't mean bold like, oh, aren't you bold to do that? No, I mean bold like I am living my life out loud. My heart is open and receptive to everything that's coming my way, even though it appears as something that maybe I don't really like, but let's go with it. Let's just see where this journey takes me. Where am I stepping into now? But am I going to do it with that boldness and say, I'm grabbing life and I'm just going to live it? Or are you going to be that courageous person that actually changes your thinking and changes your belief about your old life? That was the only life that was good. Can you make it a good life now? Can you just look at, okay, I've walked through this stuff, I've walked through that, I've walked through this, okay, what now? But I'm still walking forward. I am still embracing life. I'm not going to sit in the corner and whimper. I'm not going to sit in the corner and say, oh, poor me, poor victim Cheryl. Look what's happened to her. God must not love me. No, but we know better than that. But how many of us have gone to that place to where we feel like we've been deserted, that we're just out here all by ourselves, floundering on the shore, when in reality, you can never be in that space. You are always fully united in this beautiful oneness that is us. Is it worth it to try and fit in? Really? If you think about it, is it worth it to try and fit in when it just crushes your soul to do so? Is it worth it to think, I want to be like everybody else? Or do you decide, I'm going to march to my own band. I've got my own tune, and I'm going to march the way I march. I might show up flamboyant and bold. I might show up quiet and reserved. But I am going to show up as my authentic self in every moment of my life. That's a hard thing to do, guys. I've tried. But it's hard to do, but it's simple to think about. It's very, very simple to just step aside. To sometimes just take a step back just to see the way forward. And just to embrace and love yourself. To have the courage to love yourself. To stand up for your truth. This is who I am. This is how God created me. This is where I am going with my life. I am this colorful, bright, diverse person with 1,000 different thoughts, 1,000 different beliefs. But I just make sure that when I'm standing in my truth, I recognize that I have done the work to identify what belief is behind that truth. Do I believe I'm less than? I'm not perfect. I need to be perfect in order to be loved. All of these things that we have fought ourselves or beaten ourselves up with in our heads by thinking everything would be great if this would happen. What about just being great right now in this moment? Being just happy and joyful and loving of this beautiful planet and all of the diversity. Look at the diversity of this planet. Have you ever watched any of those movies where the aliens invade? The one thing that always confuses me is they all look exactly alike. Every one of them look exactly alike. How did we get so lucky to have so much diversity? That we all look different. They don't even have moles or freckles or anything. They're all just identical and exactly alike. And that seems like it would be kind of boring. But maybe that's one way to end conflict. If we are all exactly the same in this monotone color, then we're not going to have any issues with anyone else. But we're not. We are diverse. And we are all absolutely essential for this life that we have on this planet. Why else would we be here? Why else would we want to be part of this planet if we were just little robots in monochrome, marching along. Everybody, yes. Everybody, yes. Everybody, yes. But that's why the diversity makes life exciting. Haven't you met new people and they're totally different, totally opposite, and you just say, whoa, where did you come from? But I mean, there are just so many things in life that provides this diversity. Not every leaf on a tree is exactly alike. They look alike, they have the same patterns and stuff, but they're not identical, because God, to me, seems to love diversity. Just this change of thought that, okay, we're not all alike, but that's okay. That's okay. Whatever belief this man is believing, it is what serves his soul. It is what feels right to him, what his essence craves, is whatever his belief and whatever God or however he expresses himself, that's still God in action. Now, does that mean that I have to express the exact same way? No. I have the ability to express myself just as I am. How can I do it? Do I allow myself to go forth in this world and just be loving and kind and accepting? And even if I don't agree with you, I don't have to say anything. I can just observe. But if I do agree with you, I don't have to say anything. I can still just observe. It doesn't matter. Either way, it works. So whatever your feelings are and whatever your beliefs are, they are your truth. And that's the color of the rainbow that you are. Whatever color is emanating from you is that color of love. That's the color of peace. That's the color of joy. Do you see yourself when you're in a certain mood, do you feel like, oh, I'm in a blue mood, so it must be blue today? Or I'm really feeling fiery today, and I'm feeling like I'm really dynamic and bold, so this must be a red day. But do you ever think of that as your life? Do you see yourself sometimes when you're having one of those red days, maybe it's not that you're being bold, but maybe you're just a little bit angry? Do you look at that? Do you think about that? What color? What are you putting off? How are you coloring this beautiful world? Because we have so much diversity, so many different people, so many different thoughts, so many different experiences. But can we love them all just as they are? The United States, it was once called the Great Melting Pot. And that was because so many people from so many countries just wanted to live here and to be here and be a part of this great democracy that we have. And I know it's been through ups and downs, and you can say everything's fallen apart, or you can say everything is wonderful. But usually we find ourselves somewhere in the middle, where we're just thinking, okay, it's not as perfect as I like, but it's still pretty doggone perfect, if you think about it. So, do you have the courage to be your authentic self with everyone? I don't mean you have to tell them every little deep secret that you have, but can you always show up as the same person, as the same feeling? Even when you go home at night, are you still the same person? Or have you got one personality you use at home, and another one you use at work, and another one you use at church, and you have all these different faces? But that's when you find the true meaning of defining who you are, when you can show up authentic, that you're the same person in private that you are in public. I know about you, but my thing is I have a little road rage. I admit it. It's true. I try not to. I don't try and run people off the road or anything like that. I just say choice, colorful things while I'm driving. But I stopped and think one day I was thinking about it, and I have made all of those same mistakes myself, and I just stopped to think how many people must have been saying that same colorful language about me. So when do we stop and start thinking about how our actions affect others? Do you have the courage to set boundaries in your life? Do you have a certain boundary that is protecting this beautiful spirit that's within you? Because that's part of our job here. It's all one thing, this human spirit combination. There's no duality. It's exactly who we are. but we've just let it get buried underneath a whole bunch of stuff that's changed us to the point to where we can't see how magnificent and wonderful and beautiful we are. If God is perfect, is that true? God's perfect? God created you. So by that thinking, you must be perfect as well, because how could a perfect God create anything except perfection? So, but God, like I said, didn't want to see this very boring, we all looked identical, we're all exactly the same. He wanted us to have some fun, and he wanted to have some fun as well. I'm saying he in the sense that it is it. It's just my Southern teaching in Pentecostal church that I still say he, but I'm working on it. But this magnificent force, this beautiful, beautiful energy that always says yes, that thinks we are everything in a bag of chips. I mean, we are it. Why else would God bother? Why else? What other purpose could we have for being here? Because I do believe, like Ernest Holmes said, life needs us in order to be complete. So we are in this rotation of coming and appearing in form and going into spirit, coming and appearing in form, or whatever the next part of this journey is. But but the other thing that you have to remember too is that yes, we can set boundaries. Yes, we can have courage. And yes, we can be extremely bold and out there and colorful and everything else. But we also need resilience, because this is a journey that we're walking through that has so many different aspects, so many different implications that we're going to experience. Not because it's predestined, and not because that's our fate. We don't believe those thoughts. But because of our thinking and the way we are showing up in the world. It's just like when you're tithing. It's like, for a long time, I was afraid to tithe because I was in school. I didn't have a lot of income, and I was thinking, if I tithe, what if I need that money later? What am I going to do? Oh, no. But, when the day that I made the decision that this is where I'm spiritually fed, this is where I get so much love, this is where I crave to be, then I decided I have to be a part of this. And by being a part of it, when I started tithing, did my life immediately absolutely change? Well, yeah, I had a little less money, but the whole point is that I felt nourished by giving. I felt my whole heart just open up. And because I was tithing and I was giving to this community, it became mine. I had invested in this. It better be good, because I want this to go forward. I want this to grow. I want this to be what I need it to be. So do you ever think about those things, about how much are you giving back to the world? Or are you giving back thinking, okay, now if I give, God says that it's the law of circulation. If I give, I'm going to get back. If I give, I'm going to get back. And so I'm going to give, not because that's laying on my heart. It's because I expect something in return. But the truth is that when you give with a loving heart and you're just open and receptive to all the good that comes forth from that, it just does. Maybe not monetarily comes back to you, but your heart is nourished. Your soul is nourished. Your mind just clears. And things that you typically would spend hours suffering over, you get a new perspective, because you're in this whole building that's so full of love. And so many people here so full of love that your heart just opens up. And that's when you're nourished spiritually, is just receiving that love. And it's just one of those things that we never really think about. How much do we give back? The 10% that they say in the Bible that you're supposed to give, that was just to keep people from giving everything they had to the church, and then somebody had to support them because they had no money left. So if you're giving 10%, You're just giving something that is going back into the circulation, into the flow. It's like giving love. And so for me, it was a totally life-altering thing because I just quit feeling like I was a fraud at the church. You know, I wasn't really part of it, but now I am. Because I want to be a part of this. I want to see it grow. I want to make it magnificent, even more so than it is in this moment. And so, when we talk about how uniform we are in our thinking, we talk about uniform thoughts, uniform wearing a uniform, all these things. But uniformity is not unity. Unity is that gathering together and just being apart, just as we are, as these diverse, beautiful human beings, and here just to express God. Why else would we be here? There was a divine urge that brought you here today. Was it like, oh, I've got to go to church? No, I don't want to go to church, so I'm not going to go today. I don't feel like it. No, it becomes this thing where it's just part of being fed. I have to be fed once a week. Once I had to go for 3 weeks without being here because of just certain things and stuff. And by the time I got back, I felt like I was just awash in love because I felt like I'd been drowning in dirt. You know, none of that spiritual love and that flowing that comes back into you. And so, when we come into these obstacles, when we come to this point to where we can no longer see what beautiful divine creatures we are, they are real. I'm not saying they're not. Even though a lot of people say about spirituality, and now as it's starting to explore quantum physics and we look at energy is everywhere, everything is energy, we still run into obstacles. And maybe they're not real to someone else, but they are to us. So when we reach that point, can we just come through with that courage and that boldness and resiliency to just walk through it and not allow it to take over our lives? Do you all know people that somebody has allowed something that happened in their past to take over their life, and that is all they talk about? That's it. That's their whole life. I used to remember one woman one time, and it was a very sad thing, but she had a pretty severe issue with alcohol. And one day I was talking to her. She said, I'm sorry, I know I shouldn't drink so much, but my husband committed suicide. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. That's horrible. When did this happen? 17 years ago? Okay. All right, now we're carrying it to a little bit of an extreme. Extreme in the sense that we didn't let go. We just remain in that grieving process, and then we find a method or a way of alleviating it, usually not for the benefit of our bodies. So if you know this person, just surround them in love. You're not going to change them. That's not your job. The job to change is theirs. But just surrounding them in love and being the observer and thanking God that you have the ability to see through these things and walk through these things without it just taking you down to your knees. So with that boldness and that courage, we get to be in the world as authentic, as knowing when to say yes and knowing when to say no, knowing who we are, and knowing that no matter what happens, no matter what occurs in our life, that God is always present. And you are always surrounded and protected by this beautiful, loving Spirit. And so, I'd just like to reiterate or repeat something I said at the beginning. Be yourself. Everyone else is taken. Namaste. You do the voice.
All right, we've got a song here, and there are some words in your bulletin to sing along with me if you're up for it. This is a song by Karen Drucker and Joyce Ripp. It's called I Send My Love. I send my love over the mountains. I send my love over the sea. I send my love into the heavens, and it returns to me. I send my love over the mountains. I send my love over the sea. I send my love into the heavens, and it returns to me. I send my joy. I send my joy over the mountains. I send my joy over the sea. I send my joy into the heavens, and it returns to me. I send my power. I send my power over the mountains. I send my power over the sea. I send my power into the heavens, and it returns to me. I send my peace. I send my peace over the mountains. I send my peace over the sea. I send my peace into the heavens, and it returns to me. I send my passion. I send my passion over the mountains. I send my passion over the sea. I send my passion into the heavens, and it returns to me. Love, one more time. I send my love over the mountains. I send my love over the sea. I send my love into the heavens, and it returns to me. Yes, it returns to me. Oh, yes, it returns to me.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And so it is, and so it does. And so, Cheryl, thank you for introducing the power of giving, a power of sharing. And we call it tithing, but that's kind of an old-fashioned word, but I guess it is very useful, meaning we give from our fullness. And so I would invite a couple ushers to come forward. Thank you guys so much, and I'm going to ask us to repeat the affirmation together, which is conveniently in your bulletin. And divine love moving in and through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God.
I am grateful
so knowing the power of words, I just bless the giver of these gifts, knowing that that blessing goes forth and really showers upon the giver all the goodness of God's universe. And I bless these gifts that they also are used. They are living energy. For many is nothing but living energy to create good for all and everyone. Thank you, God. And so, you could go just put them up on the altar. And yeah, thank you so much. And we have a power of protection in our bulletin. Let's say that together. And I love these words. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God presses us. Presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. And let us join hands and know that there is peace. Is possible. It is possible.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow, to take each moment